Hello, my name is Afyan Mbeke-Ekanem, and I'm doing a presentation on the Jack in the Box E. coli outbreak. Here's some background information. E. coli was first identified in 1982 due to an outbreak which was caused by undercooked McDonald's burgers. At that time, public health officials only viewed this as an isolated incident, and so they didn't really think that E. coli was a big problem. It wasn't until 1993 that E. coli was seen as a huge crisis. This was because at Jack in the Box in Seattle, the restaurant served undercooked monster burgers, killing more than 4 children while 700 others became ill. Public health investigators quickly determined that Jack in the Box, the restaurant in Seattle, was the primary source of the outbreak. Here's the current situation. A strength of the situation was that E. coli poisoning was finally viewed as a lethal toxin. A weakness from this was that 4 children died and hundreds of other people became ill. In order for the severity of the threat to be actually understood, an opportunity that came out of this was that after the outbreak, HACCP, or Hazard Analysis and Critical Control Points, was established, and their mission statement is to make food compliance easy and ensure food safety. And a threat that came out of this was that it was understood that undercooked beef may contain E. coli, which has the potential to kill consumers. Here are some core issues about the situation. The contaminated beef distributed by Jack in the Box in Seattle led to many people dying and becoming ill. What causes E. coli? Cattle produces feces which contain bacteria, such as E. coli. Feces usually gets onto the hide of the cattle, which may contact the meat at meat packing plants. E. coli bacteria are tolerant of high acidity levels. Therefore, once it is consumed, human gastric shock won't be able to kill it. Therefore, the E. coli will be able to contaminate the human body, which will make them sick. It should be a priority from this situation is that inspecting beef to make sure that it is fresh and up to standards in order to reduce the deaths and the illnesses that may come from E. coli poisoning. Here are some alternatives. The E. coli outbreak was remedied through methods provided by food safety expert Dave Thino. His ideals was that they should make sure that the meat products are fresh, look good, are cold, not discolored or things like that. Keep them refrigerated and cold. Follow shelf life information, coded information, and that rare hamburgers need to be a thing of the past. Another approach, other than his methods, is that a spray based on milk appears to kill E. coli. So this spray would be sprayed onto the hide of the cattle, and that would pretty much eradicate the E. coli on the cattle, making it safe to consume. Another approach is that E. coli can be eradicated through irradiation, which is effective or which is appealing to the meat industry because it is cost effective and it eliminates the threat posed by manure. One recommendation that I have in order to eliminate this problem of E. coli poisoning is that you can periodically feed cattle with an antibiotic along with their diet. This would help to kill E. coli in their stomach. Another recommendation I have is that cattle that feed on a corn-based diet usually have a higher pH in their stomach, making it habitable for E. coli. Thus, switching their diet to something that decreases their pH level will perhaps reduce the probability of contracting E. coli. This could be simply having the cattle eat a plant-based diet, or they could eat grass or just hay. An action plan for the recommendation of switching the cattle diet to corn, or switching the cattle diet from corn to something else, would start with a goal, and this goal should be made that in 2020, a cheap and less acidic alternative will be introduced to cattle diet. Then the new alternative should be fed to a sample group of cattle for 5 years. If this is successful, then by 2030, this new diet should be made accessible to all cattle nationally. And then by 2040, E. coli poisoning should almost be completely eliminated. Here's my opinion on the issue. I believe that it is essential for restaurants to serve beef that has not been contaminated. Employees should follow preparation guidelines in order to ensure that people do not fall victim to E. coli poisoning, such as the victims from the Jack in the Box Seattle case of 1993. And here are my references. That is the end of my presentation. Thank you.